Today I have a pleasure to talk with Mr. Ravshan Kadirov, who is the head of FinTech at the Central Bank of Uzbekistan. Mr. Kadirov, where do you see Uzbekistan's greatest FinTech opportunity over the next 5 years?
Thank you. Welcome to Uzbekistan. Welcome to the Silk Road FinTech Forum. As today it was announced by our governor, we are working on our national FinTech strategy for the next 5 years in order to develop a FinTech ecosystem of Uzbekistan. This is actually outlined by the presidential decree that was established last year. And there are some core pillars of this national FinTech strategy that we will be fulfilling for the next 5 years. First one is to establish an innovation hub at Central Bank. And the aim of this innovation hub is to have sort of a one-stop shop where we're going to have this internal cycle that will enable startups to quickly and efficiently go through all the phases that are necessary for them to scale. So once they become the resident of the innovation hub, they can also go through the incubation, acceleration program, and then if everything is successful, then they go straight into the regulatory sandbox, which is also inside the central bank. And then from then on, they can obtain venture funding and then move on to scale either in local market or international market. So the aim of this presidential decree and the national FinTech strategy is to create opportunity for 5,000 students to train them, upskill them within the next 5 years, to also advance open banking and open finance in the coming 5 years. That includes establishing the advanced open banking architecture, also includes areas of technological risk, operational resilience, and besides that, there are areas that are also related to regulation technology and supervisory technology as well. So the national FinTech strategy encompasses the FinTech ecosystem sustainable and long-term growth, because so far the FinTech has grown in Uzbekistan in sort of a organic manner, if you will. So that's why now our aim is, without creating too much disruption, without creating too much over-regulation, to stimulate further that growth in order to make it more sustainable.
Thank you so much. How is Central Bank supporting FinTech startups while ensuring innovation does not compromise financial stability?
That's a great question. In fact, I think with the scale of this forum, you can say that today competition has increased drastically in the Uzbekistan financial and banking sector. As you can see, there are so many different participants in this forum, starting from classical commercial banks, digital banks. There are banks who are already practicing some neo-banking products, obviously payment system companies, FinTech startups. So we believe that further stimulation of this competition will be also one of the main challenges, but yet some of the, I think, extraordinary plans that we have in order to balance this very delicate matter of regulation and innovation.
Thank you so much. What role do digital payments and financial inclusion play in your strategy?
Digital payments currently actually already include a large share of the payments that go through on daily basis in our financial sector and banking sector. But I believe that number is going to keep on growing. And as we support FinTech, as the competition itself stimulates the market participants, that goal is being achieved organically. So there is no sort of a push on behalf of the regulator to achieve those numbers artificially. We're monitoring and we're having the oversight on some of the technological, cybersecurity issues, fraud, identity theft issues related to P2P payments or some of the FinTech services or online mobile banking services. But other than that, we believe that this momentum that we have going on in increase of the digital payment services in Uzbekistan will continue. And I think as we go on to implement our fintech strategy, it will actually double down and will be increasing at the increasing rate.
Thank you. And what are the main challenges that central bank faces when implementing these new financial technologies?
I think one of the main challenges would definitely be the lack of talent, because we know that the population of Uzbekistan is quite large in Central Asia. However, it's not just about the size of the population. It's about educating, upskilling that population. So that's why we believe that the backbone of implementing our national fintech strategy lies with upskilling and educating at least 5,000 young professionals in the fintech industry. Because behind every process, behind every payment, behind every fintech product or innovative idea, there is a skilled professional, there is a young talent. But in order for the young talent to thrive and to be able to achieve its goals in our innovation hub, regulatory sandbox, and being able to come up with groundbreaking, innovative financial solutions, we believe that there is still a lot of room to train and upskill this young talent.
What role do central banks play as technologies like AI, digital payments, digital identities play when these technologies continue to evolve?
I believe AI is certainly a game changer in terms of scaling some of the opportunities that our fintech projects that are already in the sandbox of central bank. It definitely plays a big role in the digital transformation of the central bank itself. Because right now, besides implementing the fintech strategy, Central Bank of Uzbekistan in 35 years is undergoing unprecedented change in terms of internal transformation related to strategic workforce management, related to automation and digitalization of the internal processes. So obviously we have our own AI projects that we're implementing in order to efficiently and effectively make use of them while we're undergoing the digital transformation. But as it relates to fintech, I believe the AI will be the driving engine that will power the fintech growth in the region. And I think the innovation in AI in terms of the fintech startups will separate the best from the rest.
Thank you so much. And my last question, you just mentioned that Uzbekistan plans to train 5,000 specialists in fintech. How can that be achieved?
That's a good question. We have several ways of achieving this goal. As we speak, we are finalizing the concept of educating and upscaling 5,000 students, because that's a large number, especially considering that the fintech itself is a specific area. But within that area, there are so many subcategories, right? Digital assets, open banking, AI-related areas, right? So that's why our educational concept consists of several parts. For instance, some students will be trained and upskilled by the universities of Singapore, because that's where the GFTN is from. It's basically a subsidiary company, non-profit company, that has the expertise and the networks and connections with Singapore universities. Some of the students next year, next cohort, we try to train them locally, domestically. Why? Because within 1 year, we're planning to upskill and have the train the trainer program, where we're going to be having cooperation with University of Birmingham. We're talking to some of the universities in Beijing. We're talking to universities in Singapore, talking to some of the universities in the United States. So we're basically gathering some of the universities who are willing to help our universities to make some changes and introduce the syllabus and curriculum in the fintech related area. So we don't have to all the time to basically rely on external attraction of talent or education or know-how. but we want to train our own university professors and faculty, so we can also have those students to be trained domestically. And there are some other corporate courses, short-term, long-term corporate courses. And besides that, we're also going to be offering, obviously, internships for students who are successfully completing this online, offline programs. So that's why the mixture of this educational concept will be providing some share of the students that will be upskilled, obviously depending on the demand of the fintech industry as well. Because our goal is not to merely train the students, but we want to first listen to the market participants, look at the demand of the fintech industry, and therefore adjust our fintech programs accordingly, so those students will be ensured that they can have basically the best opportunity out there in the market in terms of being employed in the fintech industry.
Rahmat, Mr. Kadirov, I had a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you very much.